Hello, it's your common 3-star max rate encounter Yubari Eradicate. Banned from the Gala region, not one of the allowed species, ha ha ha. Get it out of the way now while you get the chance. Hello, it's been a little while, kind of not really. I've been streaming a lot but not recording a lot of videos. Recently I went into my OBS settings and discovered that my bitrate was set to 42,000 instead of it's at 4,500 right now. It was at 42,000. So that would explain why my file sizes were so large on my recordings. But that's fixed now. So shoutouts to lower bitrate and to being able to record again. But anyway, as if that was the only reason I wasn't recording. But anyway, Sword and Shield has come out, as everyone is well aware, anybody who watches this channel. And there are some new Pokemon. And there's one Pokemon in particular that you can already see on the screen. This is weird. Have I ever done post-commentary over art like this before? I don't think so. But you can see who I'm drawing, I'm sure. But they have become one of my favorite Pokemon, maybe like top 10 already. Because top 5 is a hard group to pierce, because that's like Mewtwo, Raticate, Nihilego, Golisopod, and then 5th is like up for grabs between like Salazzle, Dracovish. There's like, I always forget my Pokemon picker list. Slowbro's up there too. But like, yeah, my top 5 or 6 is a hard group to pierce. But Dracovish is up there for a couple of reasons, and there's a lot of good Pokemon this generation. So I got to talk for about 20 minutes here because that's about how long this little speed up section is. To just pull the curtain all the way open. So I might talk about some of the other Pokemon from the Galar region because I have some stuff to say about Korver Night's line and stuff like that. But I just really want to dig into Dracovish real quick and about how amazing he is. So Dracovish is one of the 4 fossil Pokemon. He is a Dragon Water type. He has the abilities. What's he got here? He's got Strong Jaw, and he gets Water Absorb? Ooh. So he gets Water Absorb, Strong Jaw, and Sand Rush, which is weird. What a strange Pokemon. I've never looked at his abilities till just now. But so for anybody who doesn't know, spoilers, I guess, in Pokemon Sword and Shield, there are 4 fossil Pokemon. And you get them by basically acquiring 2 of the 4 fossils, and you give them to a lady whose name is very comedically Professor Carolus, because she's not very careful. And she will basically throw your 2 fossils into what looks like a little fucking like a toaster oven or something, and it spits out a Pokemon. And she goes, "Yeah, that looks about right. Here you go." Of course, none of the fossils match up, and so it leads to 4 Pokemon that are horrible combinations of creatures that should never have been combined. And I think that the fish part is probably the funniest thing. I'm naming this top 1 funniest Pokemon in Pokemon. Alright? Now, I was looking at Lotad. Lotad's pretty funny looking, the way he waddles around on his little blueberry feet. And like, you know, there's some funny fucking Pokemon out there. But this dude, he is on another level. He is amazing. So we're going to go through a couple of his little Pokedex entries here, okay? So in Shield, the thing that made me fall in love with him, because I have Pokemon Shield, and when I got him, at first, because I remember when I first saw them from the leaks, and I was like, that one's not really, I don't like him. You know, the color clash between the green and red and the blue, and just that like his head's on the end of a tail, which seemed like it doesn't biologically make any sense. Yeah, I know it's Pokemon, but still, I was just kind of like, I don't like his weird, it looks like his body's cut in half, and his tip of his tail is his head. It's kind of goofy looking, I don't know. But then, as soon as I got him, I was like, man, I got this one, fuck. And then, I saw his Pokedex entry. And his Pokedex entry says, its mighty legs are capable of running at speeds exceeding 40 miles an hour. But, this Pokemon can't breathe unless it's underwater. And I sat there and I looked at that for a minute, and I just burst into laughter. And then I repeated that like 3 times to Silva. And I have been thinking about this Pokemon literally for a week since I read this description. And it has only been made better by the other descriptions, because in Sword, they don't even get as funny. They don't get all the humor in Sword. They get powerful legs and jaws made of the apex predator of its time. Its own overhunting of its prey was what drove it to extinction, right? Now that's weird. There's a bunch of these that are weird because they refer to one half of the creature, because naturally that would be for the dragon, because this Pokemon did not exist back then, right? But that second bit is clearly like the shield description about being able to run but not being able to breathe above water. That's very clearly about this Pokemon, right? So the next one I'm going to read here is for Arcdevish, who is probably my second favorite of these. Oh, he's easily my second favorite of these. He is I'll try to throw a picture of him up on screen, but he's got a dinosaur like weird. He's got some kind of like amphibious, semi-aquatic dinosaur bottom half with like flipper feet. But the Arcdevish shows that it can walk, so it is like some kind of amphibious water type thing, or ice type rather. The dino fossil gives you the ice part of the body, and it's got the the fish head on top, but it's fucking upside down. This dude can't catch a break. This one's dex description says, from Sword, it says, though it's able to capture prey by freezing its surroundings, it has trouble eating the prey afterwards because its mouth is on top of its head. And that's, again, clearly about this Pokemon. Shield says, the skin on its face is impervious to attack, but breathing difficulties made the Pokemon go extinct anyway. He can't breathe. He can't breathe out of water. But in water, he doesn't breathe so great anyway. So that lore, this lore, like, it just expands on how hilarious Dracovish is. Because that means that Dracovish can run 40 miles an hour on land, but he can't breathe on land. But he also can't swim because he's got the dragon feet. He presumably can't swim. But he also, his head is indestructible, like impervious to attack, but he can't fucking breathe underwater or on land. So this creature can run really fast for about 45 seconds before it fucking suffocates and topples over and just dies. And all because this lazy scientist threw 2 random fossils into a fucking machine and it spit out a Pokemon that never should have been born, that never should have lived. God, I love him. God, he's so wonderful. Oh, God. Okay. But yes. So Dracovish has easily become, like, one of my favorite Pokemon. He is the top 1 funniest Pokemon to ever exist. And also, stat-wise, like, again, this is very early on, and I'm by no means a competitive Pokemon player, but I can tell he seems pretty good. I saw he was on, like, 3 of the top 20, like, winning competitive teams for, like, week 1 or whatever. He's got good abilities between Strong Jaw, Water Absorb, and I guess Sand Veil's alright, too. I know Arcdevish is all about Hail. It gets Aurora Veil, and its ability heals it in the Hail. And it gets something else as well, some other Hail ability, but yeah, it's just so fucking funny. But it's got a pretty decently high. It's got like a above average attack, above average speed. So I've been really happy with it. It was my first level 100 Pokemon. While all of my other Pokemon were level 60, I buffed him straight up to 100 because he's that amazing. I love him. Real quick to touch on the other 2 fossils, I suppose. There's Arcdevish, which is the combination of the bird fossil and the dino fossil. He gets Volt Absorb. He heals 1/4 of his maximum HP when hit by electric type moves. That's kind of crazy. Static, and hidden ability is Slush Rush. Doubles the Pokemon speed when Hail is in effect. Okay. That's kind of cool. But his dex entry says that, and this one's actually really cool too, but this is a functioning living creature. Like, this one can get by during the day, right? Because the shaking of its freezing upper half is what generates its electricity. It has a hard time walking around. So this one has flipper feet, so he has a hard time, like, moving himself. He's not very fast, I'm guessing. But his shivering generates static electricity, which I think is, like, super cool. It lived in prehistoric seashores and was able to preserve food with the ice from its body. It went extinct because it moved so slowly. So that also adds to Arcdevish, where Arcdevish, so it freezes its prey. It has trouble eating it because its head is upside down, but it also can't move very fast in general. But I guess that the dino part lived on shore, on seashore. So it was like amphibious, but it seems to be mostly land. Okay. So then moving on to Dracozolt, let's see if this gives us any more lore on the Draco part of him. He gets Volt Absorb, Hustle, and Sand Rush. Nothing too crazy standing out there. This is the combo of the bird fossil and the fossilized Drake. In ancient times, it was unbeatable thanks to its powerful lower body, but went extinct anyway after it depleted all of its plant-based food sources. So the dragon part was an herbivore, I guess. The powerful muscles in its tail generate its electricity compared to its lower body. Its upper half is entirely too small. Which is true. This boy's thick. This one's thick. But when I first saw this one, it reminded me of the dragon legs that stand around in Izalith in Dark Souls 1. Which, haha, Dark Souls reference, but yeah. Those things are stupid, and this thing is kind of stupid. But I love all four of these fossil Pokemon. And these fossil Pokemon are a reference to the UK paleontologists, like way back in the day when paleontology kind of started. They were finding all these fossils around, but they didn't know what the creatures were supposed to look like. So they kind of just stuck them together. They stuck the bones together in whatever shape they thought looked right. And so this lazy paleontologist lady just slapped a bunch of shit together, but now they're living creatures as well, so they have to deal with the ramifications of a scientist's carelessness. And I think that's fantastic. I think that's really great. So big shout outs to these Pokemon, but especially Dracovish, because Dracovish has it the worst of all of them by far. Like I don't think there's any debate there. He can't breathe on land or water, and he can run really fast, but he can't swim. Like, yeah. The only one who's close is Arcdevish, because his head is upside down. His head's just straight up upside down. And he also is required to be underwater, but he moves very slowly. So, yeah. Wow. Okay. With my last little remaining time here, I guess I will talk a little bit about the Korver Night line I wanted to talk about a little bit. I'm going to pull them up in front of me right now. But right off the bat, right as soon as the leaks came out, I slurped up them leaks like nothing. Like, I fucking went to Planet Smoothie and I asked them to swap out the honey in my shit with Pokemon leaks. And I slurped that shit up real good. And it was delicious. And my couple takeaways were that Orbital is one of those like top 3 coolest bugs. It's like Golisopod, Volcarona, Orbital. I'd say off the top of my head, just thinking about it, he's definitely up there. Orbital is one of the cooler bug Pokemon for sure, and I really love Bug Psychic type. And when I googled, I wasn't sure, I couldn't remember if we had a Bug Psychic type already or not, so I went to check it out, and all I found was a thread from like 4 years ago of people talking about how busted a Psychic bug would be, and I'm like, yeah, that's good. And then I saw his Gigantamax, and I was like, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. But then the other thing I noticed was as soon as I saw the other 2 evolutions of Korver Night is Korver Night himself alone, no evolutions, is the best bird, like the best starter bird in the series, no questions asked. His line is like it consistently blows my mind how amazing this line is. So starting with Rookidee, I was like, oh, he's all right. He's a little bird. He's got the blue, like the blue, yellow, and black with red eyes were kind of clashing with me at first. And I saw his little grumpy eyes, and I was like, oh, he's kind of like that one Hello Kitty bird. I forget his name, but I was like, he's all right. He's cute. He's based off a chickadee, and I was like, yeah, sure. But then, dear viewer, I looked a little bit closer, and I noticed that those are not his eyes. The white part is a feather pattern. It's a patch of color underneath his eye. The red part, the red circle, that's his entire eye. But the white part makes it look like he's got little angry eyes as like an intimidation tactic, which we were just when we did the starter video. I'm sure I don't blame anyone for not watching the 4-hour starter design discussion tier list thing. But in that tier list, we talked about a little bit about intimidation tactics and how animals use them and how they translate into Pokemon occasionally, like with Typhlosion's his big fire mantle that he has, or Cyndaquil's his spines, his fire spines. This is another perfect example of a Pokemon that has a visible like purpose for its coloration. That, you know, because animals do that. They have coloration, like moths with the eyes on their shit to make them look like big horrible monsters in the night, you know. And then Corvisquire carries on with that, where it's a little less. It's not as bright white, so it's a little bit subdued, but it's still there. And Corvisquire himself, like, he's got the little Bloodborne hat on, and like his coloration, his deep blue and that like grayish greenish blue underneath. Corvisquire is like the coolest middle stage bird also, where I actually like all 3 steps of this line, where normally it's like I like 2 of them but not one of them, like what's a good, like with Toucanon, like I like Pikipek and like Trumbeak is fine, and then Toucanon's pretty cool, right? But then there's stuff like Pidove, where it's like Pidove is great, but Tranquil is like and then Unpheasant is like a Pokemon that I struggle to remember the name of a lot of times. But this one is like all 3 lines are fantastic. Rookidee is adorable little chickadee. Corvisquire, I forget what kind of bird he is, but he's another type of bird that actually is pretty much these colors in real life. It's like black on top with blue on bottom. And there's not much else to say about him besides he has the eye thing, which is cool. But if you cover up the eye thing, he's actually like really cute also. Like that eye is really cute. And then we move on to Korver Night, and Korver Night, he doesn't. That's like a hole in the armor, I think, because yeah, he's like, it's like metal, and then it's just black underneath. And like the way I interpret this is that he doesn't have the coloration for intimidation anymore, because he doesn't need it anymore, because he went from being like, you know, just another bird to being, he is a predator. Like this looks like a fucking predator bird. And so I like the fact that he has the intimidation shit until he no longer needs to intimidate because he's really that strong. And I forget, he's like 165 pounds and 7 feet tall. Like, and smart too, because he's based off of a crow, or a raven or whatever. And they're very smart birds, and he's a very smart bird in design and him as a Pokemon. So yeah, just thought I'd talk about them a little bit. I'm not, me being a rodent guy, Pokemon rodent guy, I'm actually not too big on this region's rodents. There's just something about, I think it's their model mostly, where like they look kind of, I don't know, they look kind of weird. They haven't really grown on me yet, the squirrels, Squavit and Greedent, I believe. I haven't actually caught one yet because I'm waiting for a raid battle one. But Squavit and is that his name? Squavit and Greedent. Yeah, I'm not huge on them yet, but they're growing on me. But yeah. And then not really much to say about it, but I'll just throw out there also, because I'm looking through my Pokedex right now. I'll just throw out that I'm so happy they gave me a Snapping Turtle Pokemon, because I had been thinking for a long time, not asking for it, but I've been thinking for a long time it'd be really cool if there were a Snapping Turtle Pokemon, and then this gen they just, like, it's like the third Pokemon they showed was a fucking Snapping Turtle. So I was really happy about that. But yeah, I'll get around to talking about all the other Pokemon in other videos. In possibly, I'm still working on. There's a series I want to do where I want to talk about every Pokemon eventually, and hopefully we'll get there. But I'll have some time coming up on the holidays, but for sure. But I think that's going to be it for now. So if you like the art, you can follow me on Twitter, where I post all of my art on my art account, which is. It's not always safe for work, but it's my art account. I retweet the Safe for Work art on my main account at Eradicate, and I've been streaming more than anything on Twitch. Same Twitch TV / Eradicate. So, but let me know how you guys are enjoying Sword and Shield. Unless you're not enjoying Sword and Shield, then don't speak to me. And go catch yourself a Dracovish, or you know, have that lady gen you a Dracovish. But yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.